It's an absolutely beautiful morning. Can I acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, the traditional custodians of this land on which we gather today, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Can I also thank and acknowledge the Resources Minister, the Honourable Madeleine King, who continues to show enormous support to our industry, and as we all know, that is absolutely vital for our ongoing success. Can I please also acknowledge the distinguished guests and industry leaders in this room, a great number of them mentioned by Bill this morning, and I add my acknowledgement to that. So I'd like to start a little bit by telling you about what our newest employees at Albermarle say. We have many new employees because we're growing rather rapidly, and a very common saying they have is that Albermarle is the coolest company that they'd never heard of until they joined us. And even if you have had the chance to hear a little bit about Albermarle, you may not realise that our activities in Australia reflect only a portion of our global enterprise. Today, I want to take a bit of time to give a slightly different presentation and tell you a bit more about the cool company that I've recently joined here in WA. We're growing rapidly, as I mentioned. We recruited about 1,000 people last year, and now we have more than 6,000 employees across the globe, including about 600 and growing in Australia. We also have customers in 70 countries. Our mission is to help create a more resilient world. We do this by transforming essential resources to better serve people and planet. Well, that's a very grand concept, isn't it? But you might ask, what does that actually mean in practice? Our business has two key business divisions, if you like. We have energy storage, which supplies forms of lithium for use in battery storage and drives our lithium product innovation activities. That's enabling our next generation battery technology. It represents currently about 2/3 of our annual sales. We also have something called the Specialties Division, and that supplies bromine and derivative products that have many uses, including as fire retardants for food processing and for water purification. So you don't actually know this perhaps, but our products are probably part of every day of your life right now, right here and right now. So for instance, take your average EV. Well, I guess we would all know it's a bit of a given that that battery could contain Albermarle lithium hydroxide or carbonate. But did you also know that it is likely that the casing on the wiring will include our brominated flame retardant, and that the rubber tyres are likely to include our butylithium that make them harder and therefore last a lot longer. We also supply a key ingredient that provides the initiator for airbags for all of our cars. You'll find our products in smartphones and in laptops, and even in the materials used to preserve fresh food so that it lasts longer on the shelf. Our anodes are found in specialist medical devices, such as pacemakers, and also we produce a specialty salt that goes into an oxygen purification process, and that's a product which during COVID supported millions of people and helped save a lot of lives during those very terrible times. Now, if this works, we have a fancy way of saying all of that with our inaugural brand video, making a worldwide debut.
Changing how we move with less greenhouse gases, increasing renewables and improving food safety, helping to improve mental health and trigger airbags, making electric vehicles travel farther and air travel safer. We're everywhere, from the heart of America to markets across Asia, from the smartphone in your hand to the pacemaker in your heart. We are the critical ingredient that protects your laptop from catching fire and are most at risk from pandemics. We help communities access water and remove mercury from polluted environments. At Albermarle, we humbly serve both people and planet, and our mission is to help create a more resilient world. As a leading provider of lithium and bromine, it is no longer enough to build things better, stronger, faster. We have to be cleaner, safer, and smarter. We have to rethink the way we move, power, connect, and protect. By partnering with companies governments, and communities, we help lead the way in advancing modern living while protecting the communities we work in. Because making the world a better place to live is not only important, it's elemental. Albermarle, all the elements for a better world.
There you go, first people in all of Australia and possibly all of the world externally to see that. Moving right along, it's not going to surprise anyone in this room that energy storage is now the engine room of Albemarle's business, and it's been growing really rapidly since we acquired the Rockwood business in 2015. Our new global energy storage strategy sets clear ambitions and a very renewed focus on excellence in every activity we undertake, from mineral to market. Our strategy isn't just to produce more to satisfy the demand we're seeing. We now also have very much a laser-sharp focus on working with our partners to optimise our resource, to enhance lithium recovery at every stage for carbonate and hydroxide, and to drive R&D to develop the advanced materials needed for the batteries of the future. The push to produce lighter, more efficient, affordable and higher energy density batteries, as we know, as we've discussed today, is gathering pace. And we have technology centres in the US and beyond that are pioneering the way in next generation materials. At Albemarle, we're also very ambitious about what we think we can achieve with our people, our technology, importantly our partnerships with others and our great assets. We have mapped a pathway to triple lithium conversion capacity by 2030, and we're moving very fast to deliver this. As the room knows, and we've certainly heard from Jess and Platts, there is now a it's widely accepted that demand for lithium is forecast to grow more than double between 2025 and 2030, and as we saw to 2040, maybe by 4 or even 5 times. It's widely accepted and agreed that demand will outstrip supply for some time to come, and nations continue to move towards a cleaner energy world. We will see the demand continue to grow across the globe. We currently produce lithium carbonate in Chile, and from our Silver Peak mine in Nevada. And of course, we have our hard rock lithium mines here in Australia, and very soon we'll have 4 conversion facilities in China. But our growth plans, the ability to triple conversion by 2030, is going to significantly expand Albemarle's global footprint, and we have proposed the reopening of our Kings Mountain mine in the US, and also the development of what we're calling a Megaflex conversion and recycling facility in near proximity to that mine. Also, we will be expanding our current Magnolia site in Columbia County in Arkansas. We're looking for additional conversion somewhere in the EU. We're also searching Asia Pacific and of course potentially Australia for more conversion opportunities in addition to Kemerton, and we have a plan for carbonate production and processing in Argentina. So despite this global footprint that we show you though, let me assure you today that Australia is absolutely front and centre of Albemarle's energy storage growth strategy. And Kemerton, our world-class resource, with both Kemerton, our processing facility, and also our world-class resource positions, we have strong expansion potential here in Australia, right here, right now. Closest to hand, of course, is the lithium processing facility at Kemerton, where we have both trains 1 and 2 completed in construction, moved into an operations and commissioning stages between the 2 trains. And now we're getting ready to take an FID on 2 more trains later this year. Trains 3 and Trains 4 at Kemerton will add another 50,000 tonnes of lithium hydroxide capacity at the plant. And I think it's probably a secret I'm allowed to tell you, in that we're already starting to talk about how we'd fit Train 5 in and where we would build it sometime down the future path. I think it's generally accepted that no one, not in China, not the United States, and not Europe, can meet their EV production ambitions that we've seen so clearly outlined in earlier presentations today without West Australian lithium. Last year, this state alone accounted for 54% of the world's total raw lithium production. And given the development timeframes from mine to market, I think we can confidently say that WA will continue to lead the way as a producer and supplier for some time to come. As I'm sure you all know, and as we've heard in some presentations today, Albermarle has major stakes in two of the best-known lithium deposits in the world, both of them here in WA. We're a very proud shareholder of Talison Lithium operating Greenbushes. And as Kath told us, that is a globally significant hard rock deposit of lithium mineral spodumene. And as she also explained, it has incredible significant expansion potential. Can I tell you that we're also equally pleased to have a very strong partnership with Mineral Resources, which spans the rapidly ramping up Wodgina mine in the Pilbara, Trains 1 and 2 at Kemerton, and going forward also joint ownership of 2 conversion assets in China, and that will be subject to some regulatory and government approvals processes. As I think we're all aware, the global battle to incentivise investment in clean energy also has enormous implications for our Australian operations. Thanks to President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, lithium products from free trade agreement countries like Australia have a new currency within the United States and also in Europe now with their just passed Critical Raw Minerals Act. This is a really important opportunity for Australia and for our industry, and one which we need to strategically position ourselves carefully in order to maximise. To do this, we will need to be very clear-sighted about what and where the opportunities lie for us. In the US, the IRA and its complementary Build Back Better bill are already stimulating enormous investment in various parts of the supply chain. Approximately 40 billion US in investment commitments had already been made as a result of this legislation by the end of 2022. Batteries manufactured in the US will benefit from a $45 per kilowatt hour tax credit, which represents up to a third of the cost of production. Along with significant cash incentives to consumers, this is going to lower the entry cost to EVs in quite an unprecedented way, and it is expected to stimulate huge local demand. Companies such as Korea's LG, SK and Samsung and Japan's Panasonic have publicly already indicated that they are moving investment to capture these benefits. And many more announcements we're aware of are waiting in the wings for more details to come out as to how the incentives will work. We will see many more announcements in the coming months. This level of investment being attracted toward the US is a clear reality check on the potential for Australia to compete in full supply chain production for EV batteries. However, I think there remains room for a focused and an honest discussion on how governments can support and incentivise industry to take the next step or steps in investing in enhanced recovery, advanced manufacturing and R&D for product innovation. It's arguably in these areas where the highest skilled jobs are already to be found and the greatest margins are available. And importantly, as we heard so much of today and we'll hear more about for the rest of the conference, we are well positioned as a state and as a nation to collectively leverage our strengths and develop in a more sustainable way. At the same time, of course, we have to work very hard with government to protect the advantages that we have and address some of the issues, including our reputation as a very high-cost place to develop. Australia, of course, has long been a very safe and a stable place to invest, and it remains so today. However, we cannot hide from the fact that this is a high-cost environment, not least due to the complexity, duplication and long timeframes for approvals, access to land and enabling infrastructure, as well as most recently, something we've all been feeling, which is the shortage of skilled labour. Our collective focus needs to remain on finding long-term structural solutions to these issues so we can ensure that Australia maintains its competitiveness as an attractive investment destination. But I don't want to sound gloomy, because the Pay Dirt Conference is all about highlighting the potential and the excitement and the incredible opportunity of the battery minerals industry. And we've certainly heard some presentations this morning, I think, that get everyone very excited about the amount of energy and enthusiasm going into this activity. So while Albermarle may have been the coolest company that you've never heard of before this morning's presentation, I will close by saying that we feel that we're at the forefront of the industry and we've got big aspirations for what we will continue to do here in Western Australia as part of Albemarle's global growth strategy. We plan to grow our business here, employ more West Australians and make a meaningful contribution to the local community for many, many years to come. In fact, I'd say to this room that there's probably never been a better time to think about coming to join us on this journey. I'm very pleased to say that we have also sponsored morning tea. It's a great opportunity to come and say hello and to meet some of my many colleagues who've also been kind enough to come down and support me in the room this morning. I look forward to having a chat to you during the morning tea break. Thank you and enjoy the conference.